A Magnificence of Monarchs by ALLI, BYTH and Jill Parker. The 2026 Festival Monarchs are a wonderful reflection of this year's Warrandyte Festival theme, It Takes a Village, celebrating Warrandyte's volunteers. This year, there are 5 monarchs, chosen from 3 of the community groups that help make up our village and representing all the volunteers who make Warrandyte a wonderful place to live. Each chosen group has an environmental and social aspect to it, with the Warrandyte Repair Cafe, Riverflow Recycling and Mange Management all doing incredible work in their respective fields, but all with the goal of promoting community and preserving our natural environment. So let's meet this year's monarchs. Riverflow Recycling, Leanne and Ken Keem. Small actions can have a big impact. Just ask Warrandyte Festival monarchs Leanne and Ken Keem as they reflect on Riverflow Recycling. Born out of the Warrandyte Uniting Church's peace vision, peace with God, peace with each other, peace with the earth, Riverflow Recycling promotes peace with the earth by reducing landfill and sharing resources with those in need. Starting in 2011 as a program to recycle old televisions, the scope of Riverflow Recycling grew as the community began donating other items that could be put to good use. Warrandyte Can was invited to join the recycling upcycling events, and while the group has since pivoted to become Menzies for Climate, members have continued their involvement with the events.
We now support over 20 groups. Just some of the key groups supported are Bicycles for Humanity, Uniting Asylum Seeker Programs, West Welcome Wagon, Remote Australian Communities, Reaching Out in the Inner West, and Burundara Community Outreach.
Says Leanne. Recycling events are held twice a year at the Warrandyte Uniting Church. At the end of a typical recycling event, the church hall is overflowing with pre-loved and used clothing, electrical goods, hearing aids, mobile phones, batteries, household items, arts and crafts materials, bicycles, light globes, the list goes on. After the doors close on donations, the Riverflow Recycling team get busy sorting, packing and delivering items to the charitable groups, community organisations, recycling facilities and specialist programs. Riverflow Recycling was never intended to be a standalone charity, explains Leanne.
The aim is to transfer the generous donations from our amazing community to established groups doing great work in various areas and to established recycling facilities to save them from landfill.
Through the donations passed on to Bicycles for Humanity, a bike that was once gathering dust in a Warrandyte garden shed could end up being ridden by a health worker in Namibia. An offshoot of the Recycle Upcycle program has been the Create Good group, the members of which repurpose and reuse donated items such as fabric, stationery and crafts. This dedicated group meets twice monthly at the church hall and gives new life to the donated items, turning them into bags, activity kits, toys and gifts, which are sent to groups for distribution. Donations are welcomed and much appreciated by the groups, as demonstrated by the feedback from Amy Dare, Team Leader Asylum Seeker Programs, VICTAS.
All the work is done with so much heart. The interactions come with care and compassion, while the responsiveness to the needs clients have is thoughtful and appropriate. We are so privileged to work in partnership with them to support people seeking asylum.
While Leanne and Ken are clearly crucial to the Riverflow Recycling project, with Ken focusing on recycling to save items from landfill and Leanne on upcycling and repurposing, both are quick to point out they represent all the amazing volunteers who give their time and effort to make Riverflow Recycling events a success.
We are honoured to be part of the Warrandyte Festival this year, with its focus on volunteers, and we wholeheartedly believe it takes a village. It is great to have the opportunity to raise awareness of river flow, recycling and encourage recycling and reuse within the community.
Says Ken. Adds Leanne.
We are sharing our fortunate blessings and bounties with those in need. A big thank you to the generous Warrandyte community. The support our Riverflow Recycle program receives is amazing from the truly wonderful community. A very small but mighty church community and its friends and supporters can achieve massive impacts for peace at a time when it's needed more than ever.
To find out more about Riverflow Recycling, including items that can be recycled, upcycled, and how they are used, visit riverflow.com.au/recycling. Warrandyte Repair Cafe. Bernadette Walsh. Do you ever hesitate before throwing something broken in the bin, wondering whether it could be saved? If so, you'll understand why Bernadette Walsh and fellow Warrandyte Repair Cafe volunteers do what they do. Known as the Fixers, this dedicated group of 20-plus volunteers is helping reduce landfill and encouraging the community to recycle, reuse and repurpose wherever possible. This skilled group have saved tons of clothing, appliances, gadgets and computers from succumbing to planned obsolescence and becoming landfill. The Warrandyte Repair Cafe was founded in July 2019 by locals David Tynan and Simone Kiefer. It is run by the Warrandyte Mechanics Institute and Arts Association, Warrandyte Arts, and held on the first Sunday of every month. Many of the fixers are retired, bringing a lifetime of practical skills. Younger volunteers are also very much part of the mix, and new faces are always welcome. Visitors are warmly greeted at the door by a triage team who assess each item and match it with the most suitable fixer, whether that's sewing, mechanical, electrical, computer repairs, book restoration or more. Because it's a cafe, people are invited to have a tea, coffee and a biscuit while chatting with the fixer, possibly learning how to repair it themselves next time.
It's a beautiful collaborative group. It provides real social connection and we have a lot of fun,
Bernadette says. The impact is significant. In February alone, 44 items were repaired, and last year 454 items were saved from landfill. Bernadette first visited the cafe about 6 months after it opened, not as a volunteer but as a customer. She brought in a lamp that needed woodwork repair. While she waited, she found herself helping with sewing. She has never really left.
I love fixing things. It's a good match for my skill set. I'm making a difference in my community, and as a conservationist, reducing landfill is something I really care about,
she says. One of her most memorable repairs was a ballerina clock. A lady brought in a clock and the ballerina hadn't danced for 60 years and Bernadette fixed it. The Warrandyte Repair Cafe is part of a global movement that began 15 years ago in the Netherlands. Today, there are around 15,000 repair cafes worldwide, all sharing the same logo and working towards the same goal, shifting community thinking towards repairing, reusing and repurposing instead of discarding.
Volunteering builds community. That is something I really love about Warrandyte. A lot of people do a lot of different volunteering, and that is the recipe for a great community. It is good for the person doing it, and it's good for the recipients. It builds social cohesion,
Bernadette said. To meet some of the fixers, visit warrandytearts.org.au/repair cafe. There you will also find a 3-part mini-documentary filmed in 2024-2025, which explores the stories of the fixers, the people and the things they bring in to get repaired. Mange Management. Linda Stammers, Michelle Evans and Katja Gutvan. If you've ever glimpsed a wombat ambling along the Yarra at dusk, you'll understand why Linda Stammers, Michelle Evans and Katja Gutvan do what they do. They volunteer within a local wombat mange management team, working across Warrandyte, North Warrandyte, Wonga Park and Kangaroo Ground to protect one of the region's most loved native animals, the bare-nosed wombat. Sturdy, barrel-shaped and instantly recognisable by their distinctive waddle, Bare-nosed wombats are as much a part of Warrandyte as the river itself. But these quiet achievers of the Australian bush face a devastating threat of sarcoptic mange. Caused by an introduced mite that burrows beneath the skin, mange leads to relentless itching, hair loss, open wounds and infection. Without treatment, it is always fatal, resulting in a slow and painful death. In some regions, up to 90% of wombat populations have been afflicted. The disease is highly contagious, spreading between wombats and potentially to pets and livestock. The good news is that mange is treatable and volunteers play an important role in that. Mange Management is a grassroots, volunteer-led Victorian organisation comprising more than 140 members statewide who respond to reports of sick wombats. In the past year alone, volunteers have answered more than 1,600 reports of mange-affected wombats, including hundreds in Manningham and Nillumbik.
It truly takes a village,
says founding member Katja Gutphen, affectionately known locally as Katie Wombats.
from the person who reports a sick wombat, to the landholder who grants access to their property, to the volunteer heading out at dusk with treatment. Every single person plays a role in saving that animal's life.
Treating mange requires patience and persistence. Volunteers carefully locate affected wombats and apply treatments using long-handled applicators or specially designed flaps positioned at burrow entrances. Treatment can span up to 12 weeks, with volunteers monitoring each wombat. Local landholders are a vital part of the effort. Mange Management provides free treatment kits and guidance so residents can safely treat wombats on their own properties, expanding the reach of the volunteer network. Community support is critical, and Community Bank Warrandyte and Manningham City Council have provided grants enabling volunteers to purchase essential medicines. Nicole Werner MP, member for Warrandyte, continues to advocate for increased state funding. While New South Wales has invested millions into its wombat mange response, Victoria's program still relies heavily on volunteers and community donations. Every contribution counts.
Even modest grants make an enormous difference. These medicines can cost around $100 per dose, and some wombats require multiple treatments. But they save lives. Every dollar goes directly into getting treatment into the field. When a community comes together, we can stop suffering and save wombats' lives,
says Katja. As 2026 Festival Monarchs, Linda and Michelle will be at the festival and would love to share their story, answer your questions and spread the word about how you can help. To support Mange Management or learn more, visit their website, mangemanagement.org.au. This story was read by Rebecca Rose,
Mason Frost,
Margaret Kelly,
Kathy Oliver.
Sandy Miller.